You gonna put your headphones in, bub?
Working on it, Chase.
I think.
Wow, what song is this?
I don't know. I have no idea what song this is. This is whatever song it came with. Great. Alrighty, guys. I think this is the.
I wonder if that's our. Do you think we can get licensed to that?
I don't know. I wonder how many podcasts run
It
this
doesn't
song.
matter. No one runs. No one licenses their podcast audio.
Alrighty. So we are in the Verb podcast. Everybody clap.
Amazing. Man, that really hypes me up.
Hi, welcome to the Vanilla Racing Broadcast.
All right. I think I got a good spiel for this.
All right, you ready?
All right, so we got like a good deep. I'm gonna find the right song for this. All right, just live in it with me.
All right.
In a world where there's 4 gajillion other podcasts, comes something that looks like a podcast. It sounds like a podcast, but it's not a podcast because this is the Vanilla Racing Broadcast. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Wes Williams, your host. And I say broadcast because we're kind of the video guys of the sport, so we're not doing podcast. We're going broadcast. See what we did there? We're like way ahead of the curve, boys. To my left, we got
Brilliant.
Jason Crane, Chase Stallo. Boys.
These are new buttons.
Boys.
New buttons.
Boys, this is a long time coming. We fought it literally for the past decade. We were like, we're never ever doing a broadcast. And here we are. We're kicking things off. I don't even know what we're doing while we're doing it. But we have to do it. So I don't even know what to say at this point, guys. I'm gonna pass it to you.
I know for a fact this was not a podcast studio 30 hours ago.
Yep,
it was a garage. We've got before and after photos of it. I know Chase painted it.
All Verb made.
All Verb made. A lot of glue, a lot of cutting
screws,
a lot of measuring once, cutting twice.
We did cut a lot of things twice.
Cut a lot of things twice,
including the XLR cables.
Yeah, the Terminator.
Painted twice, 3 times. Yeah, it's been a process, man. And we're
So-
only what 2 months behind. I think this was
Or 3, maybe 10 years behind if we're gonna count the rest of the world against us. I don't know. We've kind of been busy doing some video work, which brings us to a little bit of our background. If you're not sure who we are, we're basically the video production guys of our sport. We're always behind the scenes, pretty much everywhere for the past 2 decades, from 2003 Loretta Lynn's all the way to the past few years of Red Bull Moto Spy, Red Bull Flight Plan,
General Sipes,
anything, everything Red Bull you guys watch. We did most or a lot of it. Some kind of.
I always said if there's 2 wheels and a Red Bull helmet, it most likely came from our crew.
And if you want to back up to, a decade plus, we got the Justin Barsha Platinum. You might remember that one. James Stewart Heli Shoot. You might remember that one. We did this really cool movie called Epic in 09. Before that, Prospects. I think a lot of people truly remember me for In the Ranks.
In the Ranks 2.
In the Ranks 2. Coming to a theater near you.
Hey, funny story. It was originally supposed to be called Pee Wee Mania.
Oh, that would have went over well.
Pee Wee Mania.
It was.
Imagine that in 2023 calling a movie Pee Wee Mania.
It was
all about dirt bike kids.
It was supposed to be all about dirt bike kids until I showed up to Lake Whitney and Michael Essie and Davey Millsaps were there on like these modded CRF. I honestly, I don't even know what they were. They were 150s or 125s, but they were trail bike editions. Obviously, Davey was
I
on
actually
the
had the CRF 150R or 150L. That's what
but it was before these.
Really?
It was before those, and they had big wheels. And anyways, I knew at that moment that this could not be Pee Wee Mania because Michael Essie, he wasn't on a Pee Wee. We couldn't have Michael Essie in a Pee Wee movie.
So one of the things about doing a new podcast is we're still dating all the technical stuff. So behind Wes, there was supposed to be a logo. But I'll go ahead and work on that. Wes, you keep talking.
We can go ahead and cut there.
Yeah. Cut.
So that was a really sick clip of Michael Essie there.
And Mike's still racing. He was at the 2-stroke world championship.
Well, hey,
He
look,
was.
We're still here doing podcasts.
We are.
Damn
it. Damn it.
So, hey, enough about me. Let's talk about you guys. Let's start with you, Chase. You worked for free Volcom Boxers for quite a few years
at the
inception of Verb.
Yep.
And then you Racer X stole you.
Yes. I was at Bleacher Report too, which was a new up and coming company as well.
Oh, wow.
With Verb. So
obviously we excelled way past them.
Yeah, right. I mean, what a great decision I made. Bravo to me. No, so it was I was at Verb, Bleacher Report. And also working for my dad because I actually had to make some money. Apply for a job at Racer X, and I was like, there's no way I'm getting this. And I was there for 9 years. In that meantime, I worked for ESPN, Red Bull, Supercross, the TV show, kind of everything. Like I've always been the guy behind the scenes, not really a camera guy.
And then come COVID year, pre-COVID year, Chase called me and I was like, hey dude, we need some help over here. And now we're making podcasts.
It was 2019.
2019, yeah.
2019, I called you. We started on Moto Spy.
We did.
You were like, hey, let's fill it out. And then you're like, hey, what do you think about coming over full-time? And I was like,
we need some full-time help.
Yeah. And then COVID hit. Did we start Verb before? Or we can get
during
into
COVID.
That.
Yeah,
during COVID.
That's another podcast.
Jumping the gun here. We're honing it down, folks. Thank God all 10 people listening to this don't mind.
All right. And so then we got Jason Crane. He's been with us since, I think, 2009.
2008, I think, is when I did my first Verb video. 2007, I did my first Verb video. It was the infancy of the internet, and you were basically like, yo, if you've got videos of LL area qualifiers, we'll put them on the internet. And I was like, holy crap,
what is the internet?
I think DeCoin?
Yeah, DeCoin and Moberly LLQ as well. And
my gosh.
So here's what's funny. I didn't know how to work Amazon server, so it actually never made it online. But yeah, it was just, I mean, you mean 30 people can see my work more than mom and dad? And and then I tracked you down at Loretta's and made friends and kind of just never left. They definitely tried to get rid of me a bunch.
It's like a cockroach,
I
bro.
definitely just never left, though.
Well, here you are making podcasts.
Here we are making podcasts.
So most infamously, Crane, we got to bring it up. You're the PC shop.
I am the PC. It's still not done yet. Hey guys, there's an episode 2 coming out pretty soon. No, I'm kidding.
Is the story good?
Yeah, it's the same story. Yeah, that was just
hey, we don't even need to get into that.
Yeah.
Bygones be bygones.
Bygones
you got
be
it done.
bygones.
It did get done. It did.
Yeah, and actually, Steve is the one who showed me this board. So thank you, Steve, because I would have never learned about this board if it wasn't for Steve. So,
hey, the OG of podcasting. Him,
you know what?
DMXS. Leads right into our next announcement, I guess, Wes.
Well, we do have a lot of fun things coming up, including joining back up with our friends at DMXS, David Iser, Kevin Kelly. DMXS will be joining the Verb Podcast Network along with Kevin Kelly starting his own venture, Winners Take Y'all.
Winners Take Y'all. That is right up his. Very clever. Very clever.
So while we kick things off a little bit and probably a little bit more spontaneous than those guys here on the Verb Podcast Network.
They have like 40 years.
Those guys might hold down the consistency and professionalism of this whole shebango.
Yeah, we're going to be the guys just jumping in and out. No rhyme or rhythm. Honestly, we do have an outline we're all looking at. I don't think we've hit one point. We have not hit one point of our outline.
That's the way to go. Like, that's why people hire us for video. You got to be able to pivot with the story. That's what we always preach, right, Chase?
We pivot. I really, and we'll probably get into this in further episodes of how much we have to pivot on a lot of, especially Moto Spy was the ultimate pivot game because you're trying to tell the story of now, right? So you get into it and you go in with a plan and that thing goes to shit within about 5 seconds.
Yeah. Well, and even as a shooter, like the whole day, like Danny, myself, and Wes would this is the story, and then something else would happen. And I mean, there's what do we say, for every episode of Moto Spy that comes out, there could be 6 more with unseen footage.
Yeah.
that would also be great.
We should do like a sneak preview of Wes's his facility in there where it's just like terabytes of footage.
Oh, the video graveyard.
Yeah, the video graveyard. Amateur video.
We do have a very large video graveyard, and I'll shout out someone. I don't even remember their handle now, but someone on Instagram like 2 months ago was like, I can't imagine Wes's hard drive collection and how in the hell does he just reach in and just pull something from 06?
Well, it's because we name our hard drives goofy names. So we remember like, Jameson was Loretta's 2012.
And I have an entire box of hard drive plugs and cables. So it's like, 2006. And I mean, not to mention, we do have a very expensive server in there that does hold a couple hundred terabytes. So I do have some stuff at the beck and call. There's some other stuff that just lives on hard drives forever.
Well, it's crazy, Wes. So like you started filming, I don't even know, 1983?
Before I was born, yes.
So you've been doing this for so long, and just kind of to transition, we're just coming back from Royal Mini. You shot there. I remember we were talking about it, and I was like, dude, I've never even been. I lived it through your lens. I mean, what
2004 was my first year.
What was it like? And obviously we were all there, but to just bring that back to man, it's just such an iconic race, and that's what our goal is to make it again, right?
Yeah.
But it was special.
So let's even rewind a bit, I guess. Let's talk about what Verb is now. It's very different than it was 15 years ago. I think we're a lot smarter.
A little bit.
A little bit older.
Actually, I'm not actually sure about that.
Yeah,
we try to do things a lot smarter because we realize you have to make a little bit of money in order to live and pay people. So that is definitely a different concept that we didn't used to live by. 6 dudes in a motorhome for months on end used to be the plan.
Now we're in the Airbnb.
Yeah.
And we have upgraded from peanut butter to turkey.
And we make our own coffees in the morning now.
Yes.
Wes vowed no $7 coffee.
After the second $7 coffee last week, I was like, we ain't doing that shit.
No, Wes spends money. Wes is not a cheap guy until it comes to coffee. That's the only thing I've seen Wes be like, nah, guys, we got to cut it off here.
Wes, he counts coffees and steak dinners. So, guys, if none of us get a coffee this week, we all can afford one steak dinner at the end. And I've traveled. I've shared more beds with Wes than I have my own girlfriend.
Think about the amount of hotel rooms you save if you just share a bed.
Dude, Brad came in right off the street, went straight to Wes's bed.
He called, dude. I thought I was gonna get a bed by myself for the week. And Brad's like, "Do you mind if I stay with you?" And I'm like, "There's a perfect couch right
Brad.
there." Brad was a good dude.
Brad was awesome. We broke him in. I think we gave him a full tour of America and Mexico.
Yeah. Hopefully, maybe Big MX Radio will be here on the Verb Podcast Network before we know it.
And all 600 people that watch his vlogs, we appreciate you guys because they are funny.
I mean, what about the 1,200 people that watched the Grom Report?
The Grom Report.
Speaking of,
dude, our numbers are just blowing up.
Speaking of
going through the roof
rhythm,
as we speak, going up.
Can we get into what the Grom Report is? And it ties back into World Mini, right? Let's just hit on that.
Let's keep talking about Verb.
All right, you want to keep going there? We're trying to follow that line.
Well, hey, we went to World Mini and then we jumped over here. We are terrible at this. My point.
Terrible.
So, anyways, part of Verb now is doing these events. We do the Verb Shred Tour, and it's kind of changed Genesis year after year. We started in COVID, and they were supposed to be just these fun, awesome weekends, no racing, just basically partying. Our accountant called one day and said, "Hey, you guys got to start making money if you want this to continue." So last year, we decided to kind of go towards a race format. And we had like 5 events get rained out, which our accountant then called and said, "Hey, you guys are really stupid. You should probably stop doing that." And now we're still doing it. And the accountant calls every week saying, "Hey, why are you guys going to these events?" But point being, we just finished up with the World Mini, and honestly, it was absolutely amazing. The track,
so cool.
Can't say enough for the whole RMX family that puts that race on with us. The track was perfect the whole time. We stayed on schedule the whole time. I must say the content that came out of it, guys,
pretty good. It looked good too. And I mean, coming from we used to do Verb Classics where we had to hang up all the banners. We were the one putting the track markers. I mean, we rolled in and it was all looking great.
Thanks.
It was unbelievable.
Well, I was telling you, Crane, that the funny thing is at a lot of these Shred Tour events, we still are those guys. And thanks to the Bra family, the Bras. The Bras. They are honestly some of the best people I've ever worked with.
This is a good shout out for East Coast and West Coast people. If you're an East Coaster, they're like the Sam and Jane Gammons of the West Coast. Like we have a family on our East Coast, and it's the Gammons. Our West Coast family is now the Bras.
We need to get the Bras to make some pogo mix, dude. If you know pogo mix, you know the Gammons. You don't know pogo mix?
Like the song?
No, it's that mix she puts together. Oh, you're obviously not family.
The dog. You're talking about the dog.
Yeah, but Jane makes a lot of. You're obviously not family.
I don't know about the pogo mix either. So
let's just stick with the trombone.
Yeah. So I was Midwest. You guys were both East Coasters. I live West Coast.
Oh, you know what? Well, Drew Jackson and his family are Midwest.
Oh yeah, I used to race there back in the day. Actually,
one of our next Verb Shred Tours in July. We're going there. Speaking of, okay, so let's keep going full circle here. Our next Verb Shred Tour event's actually at Unadilla. We partnered up with them and J-Day Off Road, bringing part of the Verb Shred Tour, a stop of it, there in New York next month. It's about a month away. It's going to be a great family-friendly event. We're probably not going to bring full hype mode like we always do. It's going to be more of a fun hype mode that we are really good at too.
Bring your kids to.
Yep.
I mean, look, like we're an amateur at heart, right? So we want to have an event that
call yourself an amateur. Look at all these cameras, dude.
No, amateur racing. But no, we want to have an event that I think families can come to, right? Some of these these Shred Tour stops are definitely a party, right? That's what they're supposed to be. But we like to have a good mix, right? We want something where all the kids can come to and not feel like they have to get out of there. So
I don't know. I feel like we found a great balance. We have great activities from Stasic Racing, Honda E2 demos, all the way up to a 2 a.m. party for the people that want to stay and enjoy that. Supercross parties, all kinds of stuff. So Shred Tours have been a lot of fun, albeit our accountant doesn't think so. But hey, you know what? When I get to go, it's I like to say, I prefer going to a Shred Tour over a Supercross any day of the week because I have so much fun.
They're definitely fun. They're fun for everybody. I mean, just even after World Mini, I mean, everybody there was having a good time. Whether it was the adults, we had human foosball, which was really fun for kids. And then when all the kids went to bed, it became an adult human foosball.
That got a little test.
That got a little
that was fun.
But God, that was so much fun, man. And just, I mean,
that was a beta test. Next year we got to put that into firmware update 1 and send it live during the event.
I just don't think anybody left there not having a good time. And like that to me is the most important thing. I can tell you, like, as a very, very slow C-class rider myself, like I would way rather go to an event that I had fun at. I mean, if I'm going to get smoked, I'm going to get smoked and have fun.
Well, that's why when we thought about the Verb Shred Tour, I think about me being the C-class rider that I was. And
he was a fast C-class
still am.
rider.
I'm probably not C-class anymore, but I try to go back to 2003 and say, what would I have fun doing? And that's the event I try to put on myself now. And so, like I said, either, you might be a 6-year-old kid winning a 12-inch Stasic or, Jason Crane winning a set of 7 gear. And then,
and getting to demo ride Sur-Rons and stuff like that, which is so badass. Should we talk about that?
Oh man, the Sur-Rons changed my life.
Changed my life. They changed Jake Weimer's life. They changed Wes's life. They changed Chase's life.
How many laps have we done around my neighborhood on Sur-Rons this week?
Almost a full batter.
You better be lucky we didn't have a charger, because it would have been. I don't think we've gotten any work done this week.
There's actually a rock quarry down from Wes's house, which I've carved some pretty good lines into already.
Hey, I did. I want to bring this up. I saw someone on Instagram comment and say, "Hey, I like this or your blog." They said,
"Whose blog?"
Your blog about the Sur-Rons and how it changed your life. Even though Boogie Dog said it changed his life, and some guy was like, "Hey, I felt like that was very disingenuous that you threw a code at the end." And it's like, "Hey, man, we're telling the truth, but like somehow we got to pay for all that."
I got to use that code too. So
as one of the only, I think, 2 members that has a real degree in journalism.
So what's the point of that? So you get $200 off at ampbikes.com. Is that what you're saying?
No, to his point, I understand it. Right? Yeah, but look, media's changed, right? Like it's no longer that all mixes in together. And believe me, I would never say I like something to promote a code. I would just not say anything.
But it's impossible not to commercialize things that we're doing.
Sure,
we want to keep doing this. I want to be able to go do Shred Tours. I want to be able to keep making dirt bike videos. Yeah, ain't nobody paying for it on Vurbmoto.com. No. Someone's got to pay for it.
And I can tell you that Boogie Dog, I for sure would have written that article with or without that code.
That's what
I'm saying.
It
was the funnest thing he'd ever done.
Legitimately, I haven't ridden since Aonia last year when I busted my ass on the second lap and freaking broke my collarbone. I was like, all right, Shred Tours, I'm not going to ride anymore. I have to work. And I got talked into hitting the Sur-Ron track, or not the track on the Sur-Ron, and we were riding the real track. The ruts were like seriously 6 feet deep.
It was gnarly.
And I was like kind of nervous because I just had PTSD from my last crash at Shred Tour. And I did 4 laps maybe, and we were just battling the whole time. And I don't know, I came off and it was like the happiest I've been in so long. So like when I say it changed my life, it seriously did.
Guys, if you don't believe us and you think we're
go ride one,
go watch Jake Weimer.
Oh yeah,
Jake Weimer is not a part of this. This company or Sur-Ron or anything.
He was reluctant to begin with. He's like, I don't think I like him. Yeah. And then he was hitting.
I'm not going to say exactly what Jake said, but
I don't really know how YouTube works or anything, but I'm pretty sure if I like put my hands here and like point, we can be like, hey, check out the
video,
Jake Weimer video.
Should we turn to the video right there?
Anyways, as we're talking about commercialization here, if you do want to go to ampbikes.com, type in Vurbmoto, you get $100 off your next Sur-Ron or Talaria purchase. I highly recommend it. I'm personally going to get the MX4. They did give us a few demo bikes that need to sit in the trailer and stay pristine. I am getting the MX4.
I mean, how pristine are we talking?
The thing is, we need.
They need to run.
There's a lot of places here in Idaho that I feel like would be really, really fun for us to go and enjoy. So, either way, we need a slew of these things.
And I'll leave it on this. Like and Crane and I were talking about it. It's like, look, man, I'm not good enough to ride a 250F
No.
anymore.
Well, that's what. So the same guy comment or
they're
someone
so
there,
heavy.
There was
dude.
another comment. You guys have never ridden a 125. I'm a 125
Whoa,
guy.
Yeah, we have.
hey,
we have.
come on.
I'm a 125 guy through and through my entire life. I bought a couple 250Fs actually, and I still have a 125, 2005 YZ 125 that has like 20 hours on it. Cooper Webb actually rode it at Verb Classic at like 2012.
Yep.
Anyways, I know 125 life. That's what I was,
come
and
on,
so.
man.
I don't know. When I rode that, it was like riding a 125, but even safer. I felt like it was safer.
Because you feel like you can actually go flat out on it, and like I'm scared shitless of a 125.
dude, I
now.
don't
I had an
care,
arm
second gear.
04. Like,
Well, I say a lot. If you don't ride a lot and you're not in riding shape, you don't really have business trying to ride because for me, I mean, I did make Loretta's the only one on Verb crew that did it, but
you did make Loretta's.
You do remember how to go that fast, but the problem is you have no business going that fast.
No, it gets ugly real quick.
Yeah.
It's like I'll
And
compare.
your brother's a good point of that. Every time he
rides, he breaks something, right? So
he comes back with black eyes,
So
bloody nose.
I compare it to this. Like it's like if you don't snowboard often, right? And it's like, hey, let's go to the double blacks. That's what it's like for me riding a 250F. Like I don't have time to ride. It's very hard for me to even get to a track. That thing, I just jump on and I'm.
For the record, Chase hates double blacks regardless of how much he's been riding.
Yeah,
but
they're not fun for me.
But those, sir, I mean, first lap, like I went out there and I twisted the throttle as hard as I could, and I never let off, and it was the funnest thing. And I mean, I had 3 laps before my arms were dead, but it was so much fun. And then we went to the pit bike track. We caught air. I'm a wheels on the ground.
double.
I'm a wheels on the ground guy for sure.
It was a big double too. Dude. It was
Yeah, it's
huge.
about 8 or 9 feet. But it was, but seriously, like it really actually made you feel like you knew what you were doing. It is weird not having a back brake though, or having a brake where it feels like it should be.
And you got to get used to not shifting and all that stuff. Like it's.
Yeah, I went for the back brake about 100 times.
Well,
Same.
To me, I compare it to the Gringer, where everybody's like, "Oh, the Gringer is not the same as a KTM race bike." It's not supposed to
It's
be.
not supposed to be.
It's not supposed to be.
It's supposed to be
entry level.
that's supposed to be an entry level trail 50 for
Yeah.
my kid Brixton in there.
Yeah.
When he turns 3, that's his introduction to motocross.
Yeah, exactly. So I think there's a, to me, a type of brand of motorcycle for everyone, right? Like, if it's a 125 or a Sur-Ron, who cares, dude? We're trying to have fun on 2 wheels. Like, does it really matter? Like, at the end of the day, if you're having fun, you're having fun.
And that's what I say about all this. If it might get someone that's not interested in 2 wheels, interested in 2 wheels, we're just growing what our whole sport can and will become. So
Dude,
it's all positive.
You should have seen the gate at World Mini for Sur-Rons. Like,
was
it was
good.
people that honestly weren't even there for the event.
Oh no, they
came to
showed
race.
up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and dude, it was almost a 40-man gate.
I think we're on the precipice of something big on the electric thing, but hey, we're beating something that
we're gonna get canceled before we even start.
right? So hey, speaking of canceling, I'm going to cancel us because the whole point of Vanilla Racing Brand podcast
Boom, boom, boom.
is to be short, quick, easy, and apparently all over the place. Hope you guys enjoyed it, but we are going to cut ourselves off, go grab a Coors Light, and we'll be back for episode 2
Can we drink on
at some
this?
point in time. Sure.
I mean, maybe do we have Verb mugs?
The Verb mugs?
See you next time.